Reports of a disturbance in the world of athletics. All units, fan out.
A week later, it was time to say ni hao to the beautiful Egret Stadium for the Xiamen Diamond League. Ni hao! Now, it was a fantastic effort from Samakonga in the 400 metres to hold on better than he had last week. Although he got taken in the home straight by Kebnet Shippy. Everybody's been taken by Kebnet Shippy this year. Kebnet Shippy said, hey, call me the bailiff because I'm coming to collect in every single race. One of my favourite races, Nene came third, and I'm really so gassed about Nene. I think that Nene and Kebnet Shippy are showing that the Southern African nations are coming for them crowns all around the world. And this year, with it being the Commonwealth Games, whew, oh my God, fire, whoa! No, not that one. Man. Now, the steeplechase for the women is, you see it start to build up again and burn. We're really excited. Now, last week you had Perez Chematai versus Faith Cheretich, and it was a great run from Chematai to hold off Cheretich in a part of the race where she hasn't been as strong over the last couple of years and been taken by Cheretich. It was so exciting to see Perez Chematai hold on off that last hurdle and say, no, not this time. But this week at Xiamen, we threw Yavi into the mix. Now, Yavi, the Olympic champion, has shown that she has the strength to outrun anyone at the end of a race in the steeplechase. And over the last 2 years, she really has been dominant. Well, actually, this week, it was a pretender to the crown who would lead them out. Buziani has shown over the last few years that if you slip up, she's right behind. She's coming for them. And Buziani led out the race at world record pace for the first 4 laps. It was really a shock to the other girls. They weren't expecting it to be her at the front. I think that switched things up for a few of them. Yavi was unsure what to do. And in the end, it was Yavi versus Chematai in the positions that you wouldn't have expected them. Yavi certainly wouldn't have expected to have had the race taken out so hard. Chematai was able to capitalise off that, taking the final hurdle much better. And often, as we see in the 3,000 metre steeplechase, for women particularly, it's how you take those hurdles, how you land off of them. So many times we've seen Chematai leading off of the water jump in the final lap, but then Yavi or Cheretich taking the final hurdle a bit better instead of sinking, running off of it. Well, this time it was Chematai who ran off the final hurdle, and it was a fantastic win. Come on, Peruth! And we're keeping an eye on that Buziani. Now, the big guys. It was a return of Ryan Krauser in the shot put at the Xiamen Diamond League, and we were really excited to see what he would do. But it was another guy who would really put a cat amongst the pigeons. He put a leopard amongst those pigeons. Rajendra Campbell blasted out a national record for Jamaica. Now, that 21.88 was astounding, and the excitement was just electric. All the boys were happy for him, but the excitement that had built around the return of Krauser was shared a little bit with Campbell, because Campbell has gone through some issues with the national team. You know, there have been some issues around allegiance. I know Campbell was in that mix, so I'm really excited to see that that hasn't affected his performance on the track. In the men's 110 hurdles, Cordell Tinch was off his stride last week at Shanghai, and he continued that disappointing trajectory. However, we know that Cordell Tinch will come through when it comes to the major championships, and we're hoping that he makes it through the American trials. We need him to refine that form, because when Flamingo returns, y'all know who that is, it's going to be a fire national trials. Interestingly, Jamal Britt has been running 13.07 this year already twice, and he ran it again this time to equal his PB for a 3rd time. We're excited to see what happens next. We hope his trajectory continues to go. And the men's long jump, Tentoglu started with a bang. He hit 8.37. and Saraboyakov went out to 8:29. Tentoglu and Saraboyakov plus Frolani. The men's long jump is looking to be electric this year, and I can't wait for the European Championships for the men's long jump in particular. The women's 200 metres was a rerun of Shanghai. This time, Sherika Jackson would be pushed by the ongoing return of Shauna Miller-Weibo, and it boded super well for what's likely to be an electric Commonwealth Games women's 100 metres finals. And Amy Hunt said, "Yeah, don't sleep on me." Special shout to Abdullahi in the men's 3,000 metres, who went out with the pacemakers and held on to the end. His excitement showed that when you're an athlete and you go with the pace that everybody's asked for, and you go with the pack and you stay there and then you hope to kick at the end, sometimes break out on your own, sometimes do your own thing, sometimes say, no, I know what I can do in training, I'm ready to replicate that today. Shout out to Abdullahi, that was a sick run at Shanghai. So at Xiamen, what would Abdullahi be able to do in the 5,000 metres? This time, although he wasn't able to replicate his performance entirely, this is a 2,000 metres longer run. So to run 5,000 metres and split Mahari and Yehune, who are both world-class runners, really bodes well for Abdullahi's future in the sport. And we're really excited to see whether he sticks to the 5,000, the 3,000, or whether he goes even higher, because I see a marathon in his future. Oh, crystal ball. Okay, all right. It was an exciting rerun of the women's 1,500 metres with the Aussies back in full effect. This time it was Billings who would lead the Antipodean Challenge, and although Hull and Hall both sought to take her on, it was Caldwell again who would come out on top. Now, whilst Claudia Hollingsworth was struggling for pace this week, Jessica Hull showed that she was coming back to form. And although Abby Caldwell's amazing burst in the final 200 metres would take victory, Jessica Hull finished in a respectable 4th place. Let's go, Jessica! It was the debut of the men's 400 metre hurdles this year in the Diamond League. And while we saw an amazing 300 metre hurdles last week where Dos Santos really took it to Carson Warholm and took the title, we were excited to see whether Warholm was going to be able to dust himself off and come back at the Brazilian. Well, he wasn't. No, Carson's an amazing guy. He's a great athlete. Carson is a strong man and we love to see him train. We've all seen them videos of him running in the snow, in like meters of snow, running through and crashing into the snowbank at the end. Man, that guy crazy. But he wasn't able to overhaul Dos Santos this week. Dos Santos has got a lot stronger over the last year. You can really tell by his physique and his demeanor. He's really come to Warholm and said, yo, anything you can do big, I can get bigger. And whilst Dos Santos is coming potentially up into the peak of his career, we know that Warholm is on the other side of that. So how long can he hold on? And can he regain his top spot from the young guy? Now, the men's 100 metres was a replay from the Shanghai Diamond League, only this time Omanyala would hold on for an amazing electric 994. Now, Ferdinand Omanyala shows his emotions every time he steps on that track. He's a great ambassador for the sport, he's a great ambassador for Kenyan athletics, and to have a Kenyan man winning a Diamond League title in the 100 metres was really fantastic. We're excited when Omanyala steps on the track, and he never lets us down. Great showings from Gift Liotlela and from Lachlan Kennedy as well. So excited for this year's Commonwealth Games. Like, you sometimes feel like with the absence of the Americans that the Commonwealth Games is not going to be as amazing. The absence of the Russians and the Chinese. I mean, the Russians have been out for a while now, but enough said about that. But this year, the Europeans and the African nations in the Commonwealth are really showing that absences don't matter this year because they're about that business. Now in the women's discus, Valerie Sion had just got married to her coach and everybody talking about it. And they're like, will she come back? Will she be ready to hit? Will she be ready to fire? Will she be in that honeymoon phase with her man all loved up? No, Valerie Sion said, no, I'm ready. Honeymoon done. Sion threw a mad 68 metres to take on Feng in her home country, and their rivalry has been one that we've been watching over the last few years. So different in physiques. Valerie Sion so balletic and athletic, Feng so powerful and strong and tall. It reminds me of when Valerie Adams used to go up against the shot putters, and you'd see such a difference in their physique, and yet the results would reflect true competition and true competitiveness. I'm really excited to see the former Miss Ullman, now Mrs. Sion, take on the rest of the world for the rest of this year. Now, the women's high jump's been off to a shaky start this year. 197s and 194s are really finding the women out. It's exciting to see Heroshenko and Levchenko back for Ukraine. Oli Schlagers has been sitting out for a little while, but Lamara Dustin really showing that there's a new name on the scene. And yeah, she took it to the girls, the Ukrainians, and she won at Xiamen. So I'm excited to see what happens next. Xiamen would finish with the women's hurdles. Ooh, come on, Megan Tapper. Sorry, she's called Megan Simmons now. Let's call it right. Again, we had the Olympic champion, the last 3 world champions, the indoor world champion ×3 and indoor world record holder. Yes, Devin Charlton. We also had the world record holder, Toby Amazon, the world second placer, Masai Russell, with her 12.18 from a couple of years ago. And I want to know why y'all call her Macy. Her name's Masai. It's not Macy. Oh, well, we got Macy Russell. I'm like, nah. Get your Kenyan history right. Now, the reason we said was because Masai Russell would run a 12.14. Just 2 100ths off of the world record set by Toby Amazon. This 12.14 was seismic in the world of athletics. There are different ways to win that race, and she really excelled in that race. And to see Masai Russell come so close to that time and to show that she's got so much more running in her, gave us all the chills. So excited to see what happens in the Diamond League for the rest of the year. China has been a great host for the 2 first Diamond Leagues of the season. Really excited to see what happens for the rest of the year in the Diamond League. And special shout out to Miss Thing. You know Miss Thing, the lady that comes up to interview them for Chinese TV. She's one of the regular athletics interviewers for the Chinese Diamond Leagues. She has been one of the standouts of all competitions in China over the last few years. So come on, Miss Thing. World Athletics has launched the Kids app to make program delivery and planning easier, faster, and more accessible. Check out the link below.
Reports of a disturbance in the world of athletics. All units. Fan out.